Hey, my name is Spencer, and these are what I call my 3 main ways for staying cool in the crazy summer heat. I should say that I have tried out just about every cooling technology imaginable. That's because I've got MS, and a lot of us with MS have heat intolerance. It heats up and my nervous system just shuts down. So for that reason, I have tried head wraps, neck wraps, things you freeze, things you get wet, different kinds of vests, hats, umbrellas, everything. And in that process, over the years, I've published a couple other videos about cooling technologies, but I think I finally came to what are the 3 most important things to really keep your core cool. And I'll just say that a lot of other cooling technologies that I won't mention and won't go into, they don't do any harm, you know, like a headband or a neck wrap. Like, they're nice, they feel cool, and psychologically they have that cooling effect. But if you want to stay cool in the summer heat, you've got to keep your core cool. The whole mass of your body is what starts to warm up in the summer heat, and that's where someone like me gets in trouble, and you're just going to feel really uncomfortable. If you can keep your core cool, that is the key. So each one of these 3 things, that's what they do. They keep your core as cool as possible in the summer heat. Now, the first technique is going to sound really simple to you, but it is drinking cold, ice cold water consistently when you're outdoors. And the way I do that is with an insulated water bottle pack. And this is the one I'm using most recently. It's light color, so it doesn't heat up. It could be white, that'd be even better. If you could find a white one, I would go with it. But it's light color, it's insulated, 3 liters, and it has a big mouth. So I can just dump ice into this baby, fill it with ice, then add water to it, and it's a source of ice water, like really cold water. One caveat about drinking water when you're outside is that you don't want to overdo it. There is such a thing as drinking too much water and getting overhydrated, so you want to avoid that. You know, keep it to a minimum, but at the same time, that ice water, that cool ice water, is going to help. And I do that with a backpack. You can do it other ways. The nice thing about the backpack is that it's insulated and that ice stays chilly for a couple hours, even in 100-degree heat. All right, the second thing I would recommend is a cooling vest. And I'm wearing an evaporative cooling vest right now. There are 3 kinds of cooling vests. You can get an evaporative cooling vest like this one, which is the least expensive. The way this works is you dunk it in cold water, put it on, and it has 2 cooling features. One is the cold water itself, which will help keep you cool and retain your lower temperature so you don't heat up. And the second is evaporation. If you're not in a humid climate, your evaporative cooling vest will evaporate, and your heat will actually leave your body through that evaporation. If you're in a humid climate, you can still wear an evaporative cooling vest. It just won't evaporate very much. It'll kind of drip and be wet, but it's still cold. So I would recommend an evaporative cooling vest. For me, it's the best kind of cooling vest you can get. The other 2 cooling vests, one is an ice vest, where you freeze ice packets, slip them in the vest, and I have used those. They're okay. The reason I don't like that is they actually feel like they kind of insulate you. That ice is kind of insulating, and you can sort of heat up in an ice vest. It's weird, but that's my experience with them. There's also a very pricey high-end cooling vest that has a pump that actually pumps cold, I think antifreeze or cold water through the vest. If you can afford one of those, I would go for it. I don't have one myself, but I've heard they're pretty good. All right, the third way, and this is a really important thing, the third way to stay cool is by keeping the dang sun off your head and your body. And I would recommend one of 2 ways. The best is a reflective umbrella like this one. This is a big old reflective golf umbrella, and as you can see, it has huge coverage. Will keep you like 90% of your body out of the sun, especially in the heat of the day. And because it's silver, it reflects the sun, and that will keep you just so much cooler than a traditional umbrella. If you put a reflective umbrella over your head, it's just awesome for keeping that sun off. Now, if you don't want to walk around with a big dorky silver umbrella, you can get smaller umbrellas, and I'm going to put links to all this stuff down below. You can buy this stuff on Amazon or elsewhere. There are smaller umbrellas than this, but I just like the big old golf one. It's maybe £1 or something like that, and it just really keeps that sun off if you're out walking. Obviously, if you're working with your hands, you can't use one of these. If you are working with your hands or outdoors, I would just recommend a huge white sun hat. This one is from Outdoor Research, and I think they still make it. I'll put a link down below if they do. I think it's called the sommelier or something like that. So the bigger the sun hat, the more it's going to give you coverage and keep the sun off your head. The reason you want to do that is because that sun is adding the heat to your body. So it's the same concept. You want to keep the heat from accumulating in your body, and the way you do that is by lowering your core temperature as much as you can and keeping the sun off your body. Alright, so those are my three main methods. At the beginning of the video I said I would mention one more thing, and this is really key for me, and I think you would really benefit from this. And it's the simple thing of lowering your temperature as much as you possibly can before you go outside. So if you have air conditioning, that's going to help, but the best way to do this is in a cold shower or bath, where you get in the shower and start at a regular temperature, and then just start lowering that temperature, lowering it to about as cold as you can stand. Run the water on your back and spine where you've got a lot of blood vessels and a lot of blood flow, and it will lower your temperature to the extent that when you're outside in 100-degree heat like today, you can actually be outside for 15-20 minutes before you're even going to notice it, because your body is so cold. So if you have a cold body, a cooling vest, you're drinking some cold water, and you've got a sun cover, you're gonna do well in the heat. As someone with heat intolerance, like the serious inability to be out in the heat, I can be out in 100-degree heat for an hour, sometimes 2 hours, if I'm doing everything right. If I got my low body temperature, my hat, my water, my vest, etc. Alright, thanks for checking out the video. Comment down below and I will respond to all your comments. Like I said, I've got links to some of this gear down below. Most of it I got on Amazon. And if you subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. This is a new channel that I'm trying to build up, and subscriptions are the name of the game on YouTube. Alright, thank you.